The Assyrian community and Vice President of the Assyrian, Chaldean and Syriac Student Union, Rosemary Yachouh, to pass on her message.
His Eminence, Your Holy Eminence, honored guests, honored clergy, I'm so happy to be here today. In our language, we say Shlama Alochan. In Western Syriac, it's called Shlomo Alochan. Shlama Alochan in our native language of Syriac Neo-Aramaic means peace be upon you. I can say that here with ease in Canada because we are able to enjoy and flourish in peace. In our homeland, saying peace be upon you is short of lying to the person you are talking to, just as it was 100 years ago. The Assyrians, also known as Chaldeans and Syriacs, are the descendants of the ancient Mesopotamians, making them not only the indigenous people of Iraq and Syria, but to civilization itself. After the ascension of Jesus Christ, St. Thomas the Apostle to northern Mesopotamia converted the Assyrians to Christianity before continuing his journey to India. Through this newfound faith, the Assyrians spread Christianity to the Far East, spreading the church to Mongolia, China, and even Korea. Those days were the golden age of the Assyrians, as their influence in the sciences, philosophy, theology, and many other studies was second to none. However, the golden age was short-lived and was followed by mass persecution of Christians in the Middle East, starting with Tamerlane. Fast forward to 1915, after periods of massacres, the Assyrians became a tiny minority in their original homeland. Living in small Christian enclaves throughout the Ottoman and Persian empires, Assyrians fell victims to the sword, or Seyfo in our language, in 1915. The sword sliced through the Assyrians as it did for Armenian and Greek brothers and sisters. Out of every 3 Assyrians, 2 fell victims to the sword during the genocide. That is 66% of an entire people destroyed within 3 short years. There is positive change, however, as there is an increased attention in academia to research and write about the Assyrian genocide. Academics such as David Gaunt, Professor Hannibal Travis, and Sabri Atman. In 2007, the International Genocide Scholars Association has approved the genocide alongside with Sweden, Armenia, Netherlands, and Austria, federal governments included. We do not want to blame every single Turk on what happened in the past, but they have a collective responsibility, and they should acknowledge the Assyrian, Armenian, and Greek genocide. We blame the Turkish government for their denial policy and for not healing the wounds, for not recognizing wrongs committed, for hiding from the truth, and for bullying the ways so that injustice prevails over justice. Chairman of Seyfo Center, Sabri Atman, declares that denial is a form of continuation of the genocide. It is to be killed twice. Failure to recognize the genocide has led to even more genocides against Assyrians in their homeland. We witnessed this as the 1915 genocide strategy was to ethnically annihilate all non-Muslim citizens living under the Ottoman occupation and to create a nation of one religion. Jihad was declared against all Christian subjects living within the Ottoman territories, which is much like what we are seeing happening to Assyrian minorities in Iraq and Syria today. In 1915, there were roughly 2 million Christians, mainly Armenians, Assyrians, and Greeks, massacred, starved to death, and deported. Unfortunately, the genocide and persecutions against the Assyrians did not end in 1923. Since then, the stateless people have experienced massacre after massacre and persecution after persecution in the states of Iraq, Turkey, Syria, and Iran. Less than 1 year after the Iraqi independence from the British, the Iraqi government launched its first massacre against the Assyrians living in and around the town of Semele, killing anywhere between 900 and 3,000 innocent men, women, and children. Cultural genocide was witnessed in Turkey and Iraq as previous Assyrian names of towns and villages were replaced by either Turkish or Arab names. Cultural and religious sites were also destroyed, leading to the removal of identity. Last names and even newborn babies were denied cultural names. Ba'ath rule in Iraq brought about more waves of persecution. Saddam's Anfal campaign affected Assyrians as well as Kurds, Yazidis, Turkmen, and other ethno-religious minorities. Hundreds of thousands were killed and even more displaced after their villages and churches were demolished, eradicating the last connection to their ancestral homeland. Finally, we come to the genocide occurring today. I do not know what else I can say about the genocide being experienced in Iraq and Syria, but my people, the UN and the Iraqi government accused ISIS of genocide against ethno-religious minorities such as Assyrians, Yazidis, and other minorities today, and threatens to complete the mission of the Young Turks 100 years ago. Today, I am sad to say that the vision of Talat Pasha, Enver Pasha, and Jamal Pasha will be fulfilled. If nothing is done, we will see the eradication of the Assyrian Christians from the Middle East. I ask you all, as we are commemorating here the 100 years of the Assyrian, Armenian, and Greek genocides, let us not forget about the fate of our Assyrian, Armenian, and Yazidi brothers as well as the Greeks and sisters today suffering in Iraq and Syria and who are threatened with extinction from their ancestral homeland. Thank you for inviting me today, and I thank you for being here. Your presence is important. We have to stand together. United, we are stronger than them. Thank you.
Turkey guilty of genocide! Turkey guilty of genocide!